Why is it impossible to play cards with a pirate? Anyone? Because he's always standing on the deck. All right, let's get on with this top five list. I don't usually do a top five or top 10 anything that has to do with fragrances or actually anything else for that matter. I don't usually do a top anything, but I'm doing a top five of my favorite all-time vanilla dominant fragrances because about 3 months ago, one of my friends, he's a supporter of mine and he's a friend here of mine on my YouTube channel. It's like 3 or 4 months ago, he asked me, he was like, "Hey, do you mind doing like a top 10 or a top five of your favorite vanilla dominant fragrance?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I'd be glad to do that." That actually sounded like fun to me to do that. But I got caught up in some things going on at that time, and I sort of forgot about doing that. And RR reminded me in the comment section of a review that I did yesterday. He reminded me about that, and I remembered that I said that I would do that, and I completely forgot, and I felt horrible about that. When he reminded me, I remembered that I agreed to do this, and I just felt so crappy that I forgot to do that. So I actually had other things that I was going to do today, but I decided that I wanted to do this before I do anything else. I wanted to go ahead and do this because I wanted to do it, and he wanted me to do it, and I agreed to it. And so I'm doing this before I do anything else on my YouTube channel. And I'm really sorry, RR. I really apologize about that. I hate when somebody asks me something and I agree to do something and then I forget it. I feel really crummy about doing stuff like that. So this is for you, RR. Um, but I have my. It took me a while this morning to go through all my vanilla dominant fragrances, and it was very hard to pick out a top five because I love almost all my vanilla dominant fragrances equally. I like them equally. They're a little bit different, but I like them equally. So it was very difficult for me to pick out five. I do have an honorable mention. This is my honorable mention. Japor Homme by Bougeron. This is the EDP, the Eau de Parfum. Now, a lot of y'all already know that this is my favorite fragrance of all time ever. This is the king of my fragrance collection. This and Ancre Noir Sport share the number one spot of my all-time favorite fragrances. And the reason this did not make my top five vanilla dominant fragrances of all time is because I wanted all these fragrances in my top five to be very, very, very vanilla dominant, like 75% vanilla. This didn't quite make that. This is more of a 50% vanilla and 50% cinnamon and nutmeg and some other stuff. So that's the reason it didn't make this list. But that's okay because this is still my number one fragrance of all time. So that's good enough. Um, all right, on with my top five vanilla dominant fragrances of all time, and this is so difficult. All of these are equally as good, but I'm just having to pick like a number five and a number four and down to my number one. Man, this is so difficult. Why are you doing this to me, RR? This is frazzled my brain trying to pick a number one and a number two. I love all these so much, but I'm going to have to pick. I'm going to have to pick this as my number five. And like I said, all these could be interchangeable between like one through five, but I'm just going to have to pick this as my number five. Vanille Eau de Parfum by Molinard. This is so nice. I think this is like one of the most vanilla dominant fragrances that I have. This is almost pure. Well, actually, this is a pure vanilla fragrance. But the reason I put it at number five is because it's a little bit sweeter. than some of the others, and I like a little bit less sweet. So this is why it is my number 5. Number 4 would have to be Oud Black Vanilla Absolute by Perry Ellis. This is a EDP Eau de Parfum. Man, this is so nice. This is so dark and thick vanilla. It actually has a really good oud note in the background. It's more of a woody oud than an animalic dirty oud. This is more of a woody oud. That's just such a beautiful vanilla. My number 4 spot would have to be Vanille Eau de Toilette. This belongs to a different company now. I can't remember exactly what the name of this house is now, but I know when I got this, the house that had this was La Roma, La, La, La Romarine, La Romarine, I believe it's called. This is my number 3 spot. This is such a beautiful, sweet, gourmand type of fragrance. It's a little bit, it is a little bit sweet, a little bit less sweet than the Molinard, but it's really pure gourmand type of vanilla. That is my number 3. My number 2 and my number 1 could be interchangeable. My number 2 could be actually my number 1 also, but I have to pick one as number 2, so I'm picking this one. A lot of y'all will remember this in the fragrance community. Eau de Mission's cologne. Oh my God, this is so nice. This is such a pure vanilla also, but it has benzoin in it to give it a little bit of a sweet resin quality. And this is straight up top quality stuff. This has been discontinued, but I think you can still find it on Amazon and eBay. But you used to get this for pretty inexpensive. You used to get like a big old bottle, a huge bottle for like $30. And as soon as they discontinued it, the price started going up. So I'm not exactly sure how much it's going for now, but I am really lucky that I snagged this when I did. My number 1 spot. This is so tough. God, this is so difficult. But I have to pick this as my number 1. And this might surprise a lot of people because of the house. But the people who have ever smelled this and the people who have this sort of understand why I'm putting this in my number 1 spot. Mercedes-Benz, believe it or not, Mercedes-Benz Club Black has to go in the number 1 spot of my all-time favorite vanilla dominant fragrances, period. This is such a natural vanilla, but it's really rich and thick. And it does have benzoin in it also to give a little bit of resinous quality. And it also has incense in it to give it a little bit of smokiness. And that vanilla, that thick, rich vanilla with the resins and the incense just makes this a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. 3 years, you could get this for $45 for 100 mil. And then they were discontinuing it and the price went up. This was like right around $200 on Amazon and eBay for 100 mil. This went up to like $200 for 100 mil. And I think it was like a week or week and a half ago. This went back on the market. I don't know if the company, if Mercedes-Benz just had extra and they put it back out on the market for sale, or if they relaunched it. I don't think they relaunched it. I think there was just like a bunch of these bottles in storage somewhere, so they put it back out. So if you want one of the best vanilla fragrances ever created, jump on it now because it might be gone again really soon. I have 3 100 mils. So I have plenty for the rest of my life. So this is my number 1 spot. Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Awesome fragrance. So there you go. All right, I love you guys, and I will be back later on today to do the Carven Vetiver versus Guerlain vetiver. So stay tuned for that. But I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.